was trying to get to that. Oh. And I didn't know how. Ow. Okay, no, I got him past the ingot. That's okay. That's all I need. Nope. Cool. 1 copper. Where's my 2nd copper? Oh, there we go. Got copper. So I've got my copper from a copper ore. Needed to build wherever it is. No, not that. Where's the cycle? Did I just go past it? No, we're not going far enough. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I got the power cell. Oh, yeah, it's wiring again. Okay, this one. Yeah, I needed that too. And okay, cool. So copper chip, gold ore. How much gold do I have? Thinking me some my meters. More.
30 seconds.
Gold. Where is Silme? Oh god, I've lost Silme. Yeah, smoke. That way. True. Alright, silver.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Yeah, I need more silver. Yeah, I need more silver. I have to move my cameras. Wrong way. Huh? There we go. Got one silver. Pick it up. Pick it up. Inventory's full. I have it in here. Let me in. Let me in.
Welcome up, Captain. All systems online.
Wrong side. Okay. I can't never find where I need to go. last part. Yay!
Neptune 1 rocket online.
Okay. Since I have had should do one of my last cat. Well, my partner's cat. Okay, I should finish these off. Enzyme host pipes leaving the containers. The overflow pipes are filled with pupils traveling back towards the surface. Specimens show no symptoms of infection. All specimens scanned are carrying enzyme 42, which should suggest inhibits the bacterium. Species stomach cavities are otherwise empty, suggesting they may have purged the contents before entering the pipes. If pupils have evolved to distribute the enzyme via the pipe method, this may explain part of the mechanism by which life form 4546b has survived since the viral bacterial outbreak. Hatching eggs. The emperor specimen's eggs are attached to some form of incubator. In a normal life cycle, the same set of sea emperors would have buried the eggs in shallow waters, where different organic materials in the soil would have triggered a hatching response. The incubator suggests aliens had resorted to developing artificial hatching enzymes, which would stimulate the egg's natural hatching environment, but were unable to discover the formula. With extensive information on the sea emperors themselves, it may still be possible to fabricate an artificial hatching enzyme using indigenous ingredients. However, the only surviving source of the information may be the sea emperor itself. Pupils entering the containment facility. The pipes pouring water into the containment facility are filled with pupils arriving from the surface. The fish show no signs of distress. The specimens scanned have all consumed high quantities of seeds and organic matter from the surface. Some specimens are beginning to show signs of infection. Sea emperor fetus. Found preserved in a display case. It was likely a child of the adult specimen contained in the facility.
Seek fluid intake.
Superficial. I am trying to read.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Found preserved in a display case. It was likely the child of. Superficial damage to the specimen case. It was artificially removed from its egg casing. Stunted tissue development suggests the organism expired during the removal process. Tissue samples have taken from the digestive tract. It appears the aliens were attempting to formulate a cure for the bacterium from enzymes produced in the specimen's digestive system. Without a young healthy specimen, these efforts were in vain. Sea emperor's eggs. Shell. Uncommonly strong shell lining. Organic growth on the exterior shows these eggs may be hundreds or thousands of years old. Alien tubes. Alien devices penetrating the outer shell layer, likely designed to supply them with nutrients and to isolate them from the surrounding environment. Amniotic sac. Like many eggs on 4546b, these do not contain a nutrient supply, which is slowly exhausted by the embryo. Instead, they exist in a form of natural stasis, awaiting appropriate hatching conditions. Fetal organism. There is a high genetic match between these organisms and the leviathan in the vicinity. They appear to be stable and healthy. It is likely that ideal hatching conditions for the eggs vary considerably from ideal survival conditions for the parent. Oopsie. Sea empress life cycle. Available biological data data has been used to synthesize the effects of the alien bacterium on the sea emperor's natural life cycle. This creature likely lived and moved in small herds around the planet's ocean trenches, coming to the surface to feed off the huge volumes of microorganisms in the shallow waters. Family size would be strictly limited to available food supply. Offspring would likely split off at a young age to form their own herds elsewhere. Given their sparse population, mating and egg laying was likely infrequent, perhaps once in a lifetime event. The species likely had a preferred environment for egg laying. In fact, successful hatching may depend on such conditions. Given the rarity of this event, it is impossible to calculate those conditions precisely. There is no evidence to support the assumption that all members of the species were immune from the alien bacterium. Even if this is so, there is evidence that introduction of the bacterium decimated life on the planet, and this would have had catastrophic effects on the Emperor's food supply and survival rate. The symbiotic relationship between the specimen and other life forms likely developed as a direct result of the bacterial infection. Those life forms which learned to keep the Emperor alive survived with itself. This may explain the vast tracts of lifeless ocean in a rough perimeter around the Emperor's location. Alien building block. This rock-like object features organic as well as mechanical parts, and there is some genetic and technological crossover with the design of the self-walking constructs encountered elsewhere. It appears to serve no purpose in its current state, and is waiting some kind of activation sequence. Materials such as this may have been a fundamental building block of the aliens' technology, or even of the aliens themselves. Alien carving. This carving is hundreds of thousands of years old and made from an unrecognized natural fiber grown on an unknown planet. It bears striking resemblance to the old Earth's yin and yang symbol. Two competing theories may explain the similarity. 1. Aliens visited Earth prior to the 4th century BC and influenced development of ancient Chinese philosophy. 2. The concept of yin and yang is universal, since yin and yang describe fundamental interdependencies of seemingly opposite forces. It may be a necessary existential understanding in some form, and all sufficiently developed civilization. The tapering of two circles, union into opposed and infinitesimal points, finite, was one logical way to represent this understanding. It may have been developed independently by species other than humans. Alien statue. This artifact is unparalleled, suggesting it served a ceremonial rather than practical purpose. The pyramid resembles vines spiraling upwards toward the warm blue stone mountain above it. It may represent a plant found on the aliens' home world, a building of religious import, or even the gravitational pull of their home solar system. Ancient Earth Blade. An ancient Earth blade dating back to the 13th century. Blood samples on the blade match the DNA of 7 separate heads, the state from the period. This evidence supports the theory that the aliens are an ancient space-borne civilization engaged in the superstitious study of less developed species. Holographic projector. This device contains network apparatus and a holographic projection unit. It was likely used as a communications relay, capturing and projecting the image of the user to a remote location. There do not appear to be any other devices in range. Nanobot. Scans show some form of advanced nanobot inside the seemingly empty case. These bots are substantially smaller than any developed within the Federation, and it is not possible to ascertain their exact function. It would, however, be unwise to release them. Organic matter particulate. This device contains highly unstable radioactive isotope, likely to destroy all organisms ever exposed to it, while leaving physical structures intact. So although it would function perfectly well as a weapon, it was more likely used to sterilize spaces for later inhabitation. Without instructions, it would be unwise to interact with it. Rudimentary tablet. This device shares many simulations with the tablet used to access the alien facilities. Although its structure is rather less complex, it may have served a similar purpose, granting security access and storing relevant data, and was thus kept here as a form of legacy support. Tracking implant. This construct is emitting a high bandwidth signal consistent with alien transmissions, intercepted elsewhere. DNA on the exterior indicates it was once implanted inside one of the life forms indigenous to 4546b. This third suggesting the subject was a Leviathan class organism. Beyond tracking and broadcasting its location, the implant may also record biological data on the subject. However, this data cannot be retrieved. Translation device. This device stores linguistic data from over 1,000 different languages. The core of the device may allow alien text to be read and translated. Analysis of the onboard data reveals a number of ancient Earth languages, and the term CHBC Live appears many times in the device's data. Its import is unclear. The device seems to be configured to translate into the designer's language. It will not work the other way around. Alien robot. This device is of alien origin. Although its design is relatively simple, its slow threat level is at odds with the advanced technology apparently available to its designers, suggesting it was intended more to patrol alien facilities and repair damaged infrastructure rather than to deter invaders. Despite its simple design, this construction is quite elegant in its minimalism. 4 electromagnetic legs allow it to traverse floors, walls, and ceilings with reasonable speed and appear to be replaceable. Internally, there are a few moving parts rendering this construct energy efficient and resistance wear over time. A rechargeable iron-based power reserve ensures it continues to operate. I don't know if I wrote this down. The system is directly converting local thermal energy into electric current at 90% efficiency. Most of this energy is being stored in a battery-like devices within the plant itself, each of which holds enough to power a small city for a year. Some of it, however, is being drained off, presumably as it is distributed to other facilities on the planet. The power plant appears to be fully automated and giving current understanding of the mechanisms involved uninterruptible. Blue tablet. Smooth and cold with a blue light which illuminates an alien symbol resembling an uppercase H. While it is likely these devices served in part of security clearance for rather abstractly, their size suggests some additional purpose, such as personal computers. Whatever the case, the technology is far beyond of humanity's own. Iron Cube Fabricator. This device appears to be the origin of the raw mineral that forms the base of the Iron Cube, which powers smaller alien systems. Likely drawing power itself from the main thermal plant, this device may represent an almost limited source of energy. Enzyme 42 project data. According to translated data logs, an indigenous leviathan species was found to produce a unique substance referred to as enzyme 42, which inhabited the symptoms of the Kaha bacterial infection in other indigenous organisms. The specimen was captured and contained in the purpose-built habitat for further study. The alien researchers went to great lengths to provide for the life form's environmental needs, including the import of independent flora and fauna via an on-site walk gate. However, its health quickly deteriorated. When quarantine was imposed, all walk gates and force fields were sealed. All attempts to develop the enzyme into a vaccine had been unsuccessful. Fossil data. Fossil data recorded from the volcanic rock that was excavated to construct the alien power facility. It has been possible to extrapolate a number of key trends. Genetic diversity. The aliens recorded data on indigenous organic remains originating from 10,000 and 1,000 years ago. The life forms are record, feature, and unusually low overlap with those encountered so far on 4546b. Soil samples from 1,000 years ago contain 300% higher concentrations of organic remains from the soil average. Data supports a massive extinction event, killing off a majority of species and forcing rapid adaptation amongst many of the survivors. See Emperor Leviathan research data. Specimen size categories have been adjusted upward to accommodate this species. Feeding and digestion. Alien research data indicates that despite its size, the species feeds entirely on microorganisms it filters from the water, which themselves depend on a complicated ecosystem of plant and animal life. Large ovary-like organs are carried in the creature's middle section, reproduction, suggesting that, like other species on the planet, it produces eggs. However, internal scar tissue indicates probable infertility. Enzyme 42. The Emperor manufactures enzyme 42 within its stomach cavity to break down its food and will occasionally expel it into the surrounding waters. This substance was found to neutralize the effects of the bacterium and its presence in the ecosystem today would explain how life on the planet survived the outbreak. It would remain to be explained by what mechanism the enzyme is being delivered. Health. Comparative analysis of the size and metabolic rates indicates the specimen captured by the researchers was approximately 1,600 years old. Extensive internal and external scar tissues suggest it had lived well in excess of the peak lifespan for the species. While a healthy infrared specimen may have held some potential as a cure, it is unlikely any research subjects survived quarantine procedures. Ventilation control. Water flowing to and from the primary containment facility is being automatically controlled independently of other safeguards. Data on the water composition has been recorded. Inflow. Water is being drawn from different biomes around the surface of the planet. The water temperature is considerably lower than the volcanic environment outside the facility. The microorganism and nutrients counts as substantially higher. Outflow. Oxygen-deprived water is being flooded from the system and recycled back to the surface. Codes and cues. Returning to let's see that code and clue. Crater edge. Geological scans of this area showed a steep decline in all directions. This data is consistent with the theory that the aurora crashed on the edge of a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometers volcanic crater. It has likely been millennia since eruption reached the surface, encouraging the ecosystem within the crater to flourish. The ecological of the trench surrounding the crater supports only two kinds of life, microscopic and Leviathan class. Exploration is ill-advised. Oh, yes, I totally agree. Damn ghost of Leviathan. Killing me. Let's see what. Anyway, sea crown. This plant consists primarily of a large bladder-like sac containing a huge variety of reptilian species, which may enable it to break down complex compounds. It draws from the root system shows large sections of genetic code with the membrane shrink. Environment scans indicate this plant is rare to the point of extinction. There we go. So that's everything we've collected until we have this. Now let's go up to my rocket. Before I die. Don't need to call elevator, hop on. Oh, for a minute, I thought I was gonna get stuck halfway. Turn that on.
Auxiliary power unit online.
Ah, storage.
Communications systems array active. Pressurizing hydraulics. Seek fluid intake. Life support systems online. Vital signs stabilizing. Primary computer systems active. All systems are go and lift off.
I'm gonna pair the time capsule first. Damn it, I was gonna give them the cuttlefish. I don't know, just chuck the diamond in there. well, no, I was naughty and oh, really 5+. Eh. It's not that one. Yeah, that would do.
Calorie intake recommended. Time capsule ready.
Aha.
Ready to launch on your command, Captain. Launch in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yay, we're finally leaving.
Time capsule jettison. Caution, approaching orbital debris field.
I still have my repair tool.
Orbital debris field clear. Performing gravity turn maneuver.
Oh, still looks so cool.
Confirm destination coordinates. Nearest interstellar phase gate. Engaging ion boosters in 3, 2, 1.
What is a wave without the ocean? A beginning without an end. They are different, but they go together. Now you go among the stars, and I fall among the sand. We are different, but we go together.
God, that's such a good game. I will play Subnautica Flow Zero. I just want to get a bit. I don't think the story's finished yet, but they have changed it. They have changed the story now, so yeah, I might wait for a little bit more to come out. I'm going to start playing some other games as well. But yeah, so what I have played of I have played a little bit of Subnautica Below Zero before they changed the story. And what I played of that I enjoyed. Like having the recipes up of what you need and stuff, and you know what you collected. That's so much more easier than going into the video. I enjoyed that mechanic. Unfortunately, I didn't do much of it in the way of getting a lot of it done. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So I did enjoy Below Zero, what I did play. So I will put that onto my channel eventually. But yes, still love this game, even though I got scared through like the majority of it. Still loved it. and everything. It's such a good game.
Welcome home to Alterra. Permission to land will be granted once you have settled your outstanding balance of 1 trillion credits.